What is up, my Lorcana Goons? Welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. You're watching the weekly Quest with a Guest podcast. Every Thursday, Zach Stone and I sit down with a fellow Illuminator to pick their brain about the Lorcana game and all things Lorcana related. This week, we're hanging out with Matthew Okimoto, who got top 8 at the DLC Atlanta, earned his Golden Mickey, and is a Southern California Lorcana Goons supporter. One of my personal friends who I think is really good at not only Lorcana, but just card games in general. Playing card games ranging from WoW TCG, Final Fantasy, One Piece, and Lorcana, even qualified for Worlds in the Final Fantasy TCG, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. He's somebody that can play multiple card games. He's somebody that plays multiple decks in Lorcana, so I really want to get into his brain. He's going to help us deck build for Toronto format and kind of pick and choose what version of Ruby Amethyst we should play for Toronto format if we were to play that tournament. So stay tuned to Lorcana Goons for more. What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Quest with a Guest podcast. I am your host, Kevin, with Zach Stone, our co-host. Today, we're joined with one of our buddies from Southern California, Meta Potion TCG, a.k.a. Matthew Okimoto. How you doing, Matt? How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Matt is a very well accomplished Lorcana TCG player. He was up there with me in the top cut of the DLC in Atlanta, and he actually ended up getting a Mickey. And very great player, actually. What did you finish in Atlanta?
Top 8. I lost to names escaping my head, but the guy who won.
Josh. Okay, Josh. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I lost to him, and then you lost him the round after.
Yeah, we sat next to each other the round before, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't want to play that match." And he's like, "Yeah, you don't."
Yeah, we were both on red purple that day. We were both on ruby amethyst. And then I do want to tell this story. I had to play you last round of Swiss at the DLC in Fort Worth. And you were playing blue steel that day instead, actually. So like as you know, we know that ended up going my way. We were great sports about it, and I really appreciate you for that. But very well accomplished player. I respect him a lot as a player. He plays locally in my area, kinda. So in Southern California, it's very vast. So I play more in like Los Angeles County, and he plays more in like San Bernardino County-ish, right?
Yeah.
So we have our own territories, but every now and then when we have big enough events, we cross paths, and we end up usually seeing each other in Top Cut with Zach Stone as well, and a couple other guys from the local area, huh?
Yeah. It's funny because California is so big. We're definitely locals, but we're not local. Like
Yeah.
No,
we're like
literally.
an hour from each other, but like in California, you have to drive an hour to get anywhere. So it's basically a local per se.
Yeah, dude, that's why when people say like, "Wow, you're gonna go all the way to like Top Choice Gaming, for example, to go play locals," I'm like, dude, if I go to this one in Culver City, if I go to this one in Long Beach, it's gonna take me 45 minutes to get there because of the traffic anyway. So
Yep.
I might as well just save the weekend and go that way, and see some people. So, but yeah, like you said, there's a lot of locals in California. I think we have a pretty big competitive scene, right? Would you say that
Oh
too?
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, tons of you guys have traveled as well, along with me, to all these other events and done pretty well. So I think maybe slightly biased, but I do think the California area is like pretty good at the game.
We have a lot of local players that are dedicated, longtime former TCG players, but also some new Disney fans that kind of just picked up the game really quick, and it got involved very much so. I've met a couple that have just that are going to the challenge in Vegas, as well as the one in Toronto. And Toronto's going to actually have a very interesting format to play in. For those that don't know, Bucky's errata goes into effect the 9th. That is coming up very soon, and I can't help but think that the fact that Shimmering Skies is not legal for Toronto with Bucky's errata in effect. I'm excited to talk about what choices and deck ideas do you think you guys think would actually do well there. So yeah.
Yeah, this is not the first time we've had a format like this, but this is the first time that the Bucky Errata is gonna be in place, right? So in Atlanta, the Atlanta DLC was the same week as the launch of Ursula's Return, right? That's what was happening. So we had to play the format prior, which was Into the Inklands, and so we played Inklands format while all the side events were Ursula's Return format already. And the same thing's gonna happen with Toronto. So at the DLC in Toronto, if you guys are playing that event, the main event is going to still be Ursula's Return format. but the Bucky errata is in effect. And then the side events, you can use Shimmering Skies, but not in the main event. So this means there's going to be a lot of interesting leeway, I think, to play certain decks that you probably couldn't play with Bucky being around. At least that's what I feel like. And I think a lot of us felt that way, right? Like Bucky's so polarizing, so oppressive that like sometimes I'd be like, well, I can't play this because I have no out to turn 2, Bucky turn 3, Aladdin or Diablo or something, right? So I don't know. How do you feel, Matt, about the format, about that format? If you are you going to DLC Toronto by any chance?
I have a ticket, so I have the option, but I've done a lot of traveling lately, so it's up in the air. Most likely not, so I'll probably be refunding it. But I do have it as an option. I was trying to attend as many of these as I could because they're so fun. Just going to the challenges, they're just anyone I recommend going. You should, if you have a ticket, you should go. It's so fun. Like I know for newer players, it's intimidating, but it's really not once you actually there. The environment, the vibes, everything is very enjoyable. But but yeah, I have a ticket, so maybe.
Okay, so if you were going, let's start going over like what would be the top 4 decks in my that we would see played. Would you think anything's gonna change? Would it still be the top 4 decks? And I want to ask you in particular because I did mention that you played Ruby Am for the other DLC, you played Blue Steel for this DLC. I feel like you're pretty good with different decks, right?
Yeah, for all the set champs, I try to play different decks too, just to practice at them. So
Oh,
like,
okay. No way. How'd you do in set champs? I didn't even ask you.
so for the Ursula return set champs, I was able to get 2 Ursulas and 1 Winter Mat. And I played Blue Steel and Red Purple at them. I think I only did 2 decks for those. I only got to go to 3 because Texas collide, and then coming back from Texas, I had a week break and then Gen Con the next week, so I didn't get to go to too many events because I had the week between Gen Con and Texas I spent with the family. So, but
Okay.
yeah, so only a few, but yeah, did better than the Stitch. The Stitch ones I felt were much harder personally. Like I went to like 5 Stitch ones and only got 1 Stitch and a Winter Mat.
No, yeah, the Stitch one was like I feel really hard, but I didn't get any Ursulas. I feel like this one was just as hard for me. And I did it what you did. Like I tried to play a different deck for each one, and I kept getting wrecked.
That's why it makes it hard for us. We do it in hard mode, right? Or we try to switch it up just to like get better at other decks and stuff. And some people just stick to their deck and they get good at it, right? And just like, yeah, well, I'm not that good at that deck yet, so it's harder.
I feel like I did it on extra hard mode because one of them I wanted to try and top a set champs with just mono emerald.
Oh gosh, that is actually extra hard mode.
Extra hard
Zach,
mode.
you do that? You let him leave the house with that, Zach?
He
I had no control over this man because honestly, this was on a weekend, as everyone knows that I vend Frankenson. So if you're in the Southern California area, definitely come say hi. But it is it is something that I've known Kevin to be, and that's just kind of like um his own, can't think of the word, but he does what he likes and he tries different ideas. He's open to putting himself at a higher risk, I would say, and play him at with something at stake. You know, I wouldn't even put it past him to take something like that to a DLC if he was really confident in it.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely would. I definitely would. And with this new Shimmering Skies format for Vegas DLC, I feel like I could get away
Oh,
with it. I feel like I get away with something. And I was pretty confident in the mono emerald. Just because I just told myself as long as I don't pair against like Emerald Steel too many times, then I should be good, right? Like at least let me just play one in Top Gun, I'll be fine. And then I played it like back to back in Swiss, and I just got punished for not having enough removal for that mirror match. And then I started realizing, you know what? Like I should play this, I should play this. But then the set champs after that, I decided to play my Sapphire Amber Mufasa deck, which that one was going pretty good. I honestly had like a pretty good record with that one. It's just Bucky's just Bucky, bro. Like Bucky's
yeah.
Bucky. um, but back to the. But thank you, Zach, for saying that. By the way, I do feel like I pride myself in trying a lot of just like different decks, different stuff. Without Pixelborn, especially on Pixelborn, I would actually just play mono Amethyst and mono Emerald on ladder, like unironically, and just be like, wow, you can actually just win with this deck. And one of the fun things about it was like my opponents would play certain things or play certain ways, like hold Medusas because they thought I was playing Emerald Steel or something, and I'm like, there is no like beast in my deck, there is no Rob, there's no steel cards. And like both my none of my opponents in Swiss actually for knew like they realized that I was only playing green colors. They were just like, oh, you never drew your removal, and I was like, yeah, I never drew the removal. That's what it was. But yeah, it's a very. I would definitely play the DLC eventually. I think you can do that in Lorcana right now. I think you can benefit in Lorcana from like having that surprise factor. And especially without Bucky, you could probably play some cool decks like that. So I would, if I was going to Toronto, especially because I feel like I've had a lot of fun at the last couple DLCs, I would for sure play more of a fun deck for the Toronto format, and I would try like a Sapphire, Amber, Mufasa deck or something. What would you guys play for Toronto?
I guess I'll go first. So I will add to that note. I think this game needs people like with your mindset, Kevin, in the sense that aren't afraid to try things, go against the grain. I think that's what we saw this past weekend, right? With the red blue deck getting away with no one jump ahead or how far I'll go, and three Maui and like stuff like that. And you need players like that to discover decks, and that's how the meta evolves. That being said, I'm way more of a safer player. I prefer the. I'm not as outgoing as you in that regard, Kevin. I prefer the more consistent and safe and tried and true decks. So going into Toronto, I would probably pick one of the decks that I would consider the top four. Probably leaning towards either red purple or an item deck. Those are just the two that I have enjoyed playing. And when it comes to decks, number one for me is I gotta have fun playing it. I don't care if it's the tier one best deck or if it's the mid tier deck. As long as I'm having fun playing it, I will play that deck better than most other decks. And then second, of course, I would like to also be in as close to the tier one as possible, right? So for me, I'd probably be more boring, I guess, and be like red purple or like blue steel or red blue.
I just want to add to that real quick. I like red or purple. I think Ruby Amethyst is a very fun deck. I think you can be very creative with it. I was very proud of my Texas list, honestly. And like I told DK because I was like, honestly, like I love the winning list. I love Ed Chu's list. I think he's a great player. I just also feel like if it was my day, I could have won with that list too because I think it was really cool. And I just regret not playing more Teeth and Ambitions. But yeah, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that, man. Heck yeah, we gotta be innovative. We gotta try stuff, especially when we don't have a simulator. But Zach, what would you play for
Yeah,
Toronto?
100%.
I first thought is I like to look at events, and this is kind of like how meta trends always evolve and they always kind of go around. You have to kind of pick like an event and figure out which deck is going to be less prepared for at this particular event. And you kind of have to like see how like, each almost day of conversations and tech choices have like, each day that they can evolve. You have to take into consideration that everyone's going to try to adapt to that. I think hyper aggro would be something I would actually highly consider. I think that like the red purple hyper aggro list is very good. I just think again that color combination is strong. And honestly, the hyper aggro version was kicked out because of the Bucky. A lot of the red blue lists would be, I think, very underprepared because they might start to gear towards going more greedy and playing a better mirror match, I would say. And you can just kind of like catch it by surprise, winning quick games. And again, it's a 2-game format, and you're looking for just one drops. You're looking for a low curve. So many things have to kind of go right for the control decks, and you will close out games a lot quicker. So I'd explore hyper aggro. I'd actually consider it a lot if I was going to Toronto, but Kevin and I won't be there, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I'll
personally,
be in Vegas, right?
yeah, I will be in Vegas for sure.
All
Yeah,
right.
Vegas,
Heck
we're,
yeah.
yeah,
we're good.
we got our tickets for Vegas. I'm for sure getting my ticket to Seattle. I've been to Seattle in a minute, so I want to win that one. For Toronto, if I could go, aside from playing the Blue Fossa deck, which I feel is kind of a hyper aggro deck, Zach, because you're playing Blue Fossa heroes. I'll put a deck list when I'm talking about it. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with that concept. You want to curve out into the Anna and then your Donalds and Baloos. It's just good cards. It's like 60 good cards of characters that that happen to quest very quickly. I like that deck a lot. So I really feel like when I played that deck at Set Champs, like I just misplayed against the Sapphire players, and I just felt like, wow, if I was a better aggro player, like if I had more experience, like I just would have won these because this deck just gets to 20 so fast, right? And then when I got to the Bucky matchup, I was like, cool, I think I can do this because like my Amber cards, they don't really lose out to the steel stuff too easily, right? Like I can Rapunzel some stuff. But like when when the Bucky hits the board and they double Bucky you, you can't hold anything, and it's so ridiculous. So I would really want to try that. I would probably also want to try Ruby Amethyst because I like Ruby Amethyst as a deck. I've always felt like it's the best deck of the format personally. I think that deck is just overpowered to an extent. And especially without Bucky in the meta, like you'll have a much smoother time playing against those Emerald Steel decks, because there will be Emerald Steel decks at Toronto. I think that still is a great color pairing. I have no idea why people want to give up on that deck. I think it's very good. But I think what it's gonna boil down to is like who made the correct Emerald Steel build, or slash who knows how to play Emerald Steel the best now that Bucky is gone. Because let's face it, Bucky really did give you some free wins. Like there was just some games where you just and I played Bucky for a little bit too, just try it out. And there were some games where I'd be like, wow, I didn't do anything. Like I just played double Bucky and shifted Diablo, and the game was over like before I could even finish. Yeah, man. So like I would probably want to play like Ruby M. I feel like it stands out. It has everything you need against the Sapphire decks. And it just has everything to be like an aggro deck, but it's an aggro deck that can play Be Prepared. So like I think that's very very strong. But yeah, I think those would be my top two. What do you guys think is gonna win Toronto? Like, do you need a greedy deck to win, like something spicy, like what we saw, like in at this YCS Bologna, or can you do it with like like a safe deck? I feel like you could do it with both, obviously, but if I had to put like my money on it, like I would straight up say like Ruby Amethyst. You know what I mean? Obviously not Blue Faucet because I'm not gonna be there, but if I wasn't, since I'm not gonna be there, I would say Ruby Amethyst.
I would say one thing to look at too, talking about winning decks for these DLCs, a lot of them are either surprise decks or decks that are like red blue, for example, but 6 to 10 cards different or built slightly different. So all these like stock lists for these top tier decks, none of them really have one per se. There's always like some tech cards in there that make it stand out. So even if it's like a tier 1 deck, it's going to be with 6 to 10 cards that make it unique for that event. That being said,
that's true. It's like I'm thinking about it now. It's actually true. Like every single list has not necessarily been like cookie cutter.
Yeah, I thought, because I was actually looking at the winning list the other day. I'm like, okay, so what is making these decks win? And one thing I noticed was they're either like a surprise deck or slightly off the wall, or they're a normal top tier deck with 6 to 10 cards different or something like that to make certain matchups better. So it's not like the stock list that you see all over the place. So I think that being said, I also am team red purple in the sense that it's probably the most consistent deck that rewards good players, especially throughout a 2-game format deck. It's if you get good at red purple, I think you can safely solidify a record to get to day 2, and then at that point you're playing a best of 3, and then in that a red purple and best of 3, I love it. So getting through Swiss is the hardest part for the deck, in my opinion. Once you get to best of 3, you're like, okay, this is I like to be in that position as red purple. So
yeah.
That being said, I think red purple is probably my pick, would probably win with some meta calls of choices of cards. Like I think Teeth Inhibitions is pretty well positioned right now. I think it only gets better because like the Bucky decks are going to change. Their decks are probably going to go back to like Merfolk or Flynn. Like there's going to be reasons that make Teeth Inhibitions a staple. I mean, you saw the red blue deck add 2 of it to their deck, right? He's stocking up. He's stocking up for the stonks on the resales of Teeth. I see you.
Eeves.
I'm a believer.
Make sure
I'm a Ruby
Make sure
M
to
believer.
check into our market watches to know when to buy foil Teeth Inhibitions.
Yes. I honestly like the moment like literally like after day 1, I went on TCG Player and I bought like 10 foil teeth because I just wanted them in general. I wanted foil, so I love the card now. But then like today, like the 2 packages came in the mail and I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh, my teeth. And but now I'm thinking, dude, even like in a Shimmering Skies format, all my Ruby M decks have teeth because exactly like you're saying, people are switching up their lists a little bit without Bucky. Like there's just different things people are prioritizing and playing around. And like Zach, you were even telling me that you wanted to take out like Ursula Deceiver from like the Emerald kind of colored decks you were playing, and because obviously people are playing hyper aggro and stuff, so that Ursula Deceiver doesn't have the same impact it's gonna have when there's a bunch of hyper aggro character decks running around. So then I'm gonna surprise them with the teeth, but yeah. So sorry, Zach, I didn't mean to interrupt your thought, but I wanted to show off the teeth.
No, I basically was just kind of finishing up that point.
All right, but since we're talking about the decks that you think would win, I think I'm thinking Ruby Am. Let's build a Ruby Am deck. Are you down to help us build a Ruby Am deck, Matt? I want to go. I want to
Yeah,
build like
let's do it.
3 or 4 decks for the Toronto format.
Let's do it.
All right, all right. All right, so we are here on Dreamborn.inc. We have Matthew and Zach Stone. We're going to build a Ruby Amethyst deck based off of the Toronto meta, which is basically the Bucky errata. And if you guys don't know what the Bucky errata is, basically, Bucky goes from being a 2-cost card to a 3-cost card. His ability says you have to shift in order to make your opponent discard, and he no longer has ward. So there's so many things that make Bucky unplayable. So we could just like erase it off of like the expectation, right? So that's kind of where we're at with this. Matt, let's go ahead and build this Ruby Am deck. What are going to be our 1-drops?
Is there a way for Dreamweaver to filter by set?
Yes, you can
By
filter by
chance?
set. Yep, yep.
No,
So
what's
we can. What set are you trying to look at?
just not Shimmering
Oh,
Skies.
no, yeah, not Simmering Skies. Oh, there we go. All right, now we have the filters. I
There
had
we go.
not Shimmering Skies. Okay, cool. So we're going by cost now. So we got our 1-drops. What do you think our 1-drops are going to be? I'm thinking we stick with the Chernobog still for sure, right? But I also want to capitalize on playing Teeth, so I want to play Olaf's.
Yeah, you probably want Olaf. Yeah, I'd say if T's going to be in the deck, you want a 1/3 one
Okay.
drop. So and the next question is, and this is a hot debate for the red purple players, is are you the 4 1-drop version? Are you the 8 1-drop version? Are you the 9 or 10 1-drop version? You know,
you know me, man. Like
the
I
6
play.
1-drop version.
I like to spice it up. I played 5 at Fort Worth, so I'm thinking like with this meta, there's going to be a little bit more aggressiveness going on. So I'm down to play 6, maybe even a 7th one. But I'll leave it 6 for now, so we have some wiggle room in the deck list. But I do want to play Cusco's for the Teeths as well.
Yep. And then the next question is, how many Teeth do you want to run? If you're gonna run a high count of Teeth, you probably want higher count of Olaf versus Chernobog.
That
So you have
is
a target.
That is true, but lately because of the way the meta had like shaped for this format in particular, like I honestly felt like I was mostly playing Teeth on turn 3/turn 2, not even turn 2. I was mostly playing it on turn 3 anyways to sing it, and by that point your targets are just like a little bit better because you have
Mhm.
Cusco's, you have the Sisus, or you have something even like a Fox, you know what I mean, to be able to utilize it with. So I really wasn't like super hyped on seeing the too many one of the
Makes sense.
1/3s, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's kind of how I saw it, but I'm always down to play more, so let's put in 3. Let's do 7 1-drops because it is going to be like an aggressive meta, I think. That's kind of what we're predicting, right?
Yeah, we can always shape one off later too.
Yeah. So I think that's good for our 1-drops. We don't play any other 1-drops, I think, right? So and by the way, Olaf over Mini. Can you guys agree with that? Because I rather play just more purple cards, so I don't have to reveal what colors I'm playing when I don't have
Yeah,
to.
exactly. Yeah, agreed.
Okay. And there's not that many like
Also,
shift.
also, Olaf's a higher rarity, so you want a higher rarity deck, right?
Oh, there you go. We want to we want to flex on the opponent a little bit. I got the foil Olafs. That's right. 2-drops. What are we doing with 2-drops on this deck?
We have the Cuscos and the snakes, right? Those are
Cusco's, yes, mandatory.
some number of Cuscos, some number of snakes. Are we
So,
going back to Pinocchio for if we're expecting an aggressive deck, or
oh, that's interesting. So, Amber Steel has been making waves. Amber Steel has been doing really good at these events, and I know Pinocchio is really good against Amber Steel. Zach, you used to play Amber Steel. How do you feel about that?
Oh, Pinocchio is the bane of my existence with Amber Steel. I always felt very like, forced to make certain uh decisions. Like if I play my Ballroom Cindy into a Rafiki, or do I play like the Goon character? So like, they don't trade. But I have a Let the Storm Rage on in my hand, so like I have to really make these decisions that are challenging, and inking is very important too in that in those early games for Amber Steel. So yeah, like Pinocchio is like a card that I would I would recommend one copy, and if you felt like it was something that you would need to get like a big sample size. However, I'm not too sure it's going to be a card you want to ever top deck, and that's just like the risk you run when you play multiple copies of that card. So if it helps, I think that it's like fine as a one of, but I wouldn't suggest playing more.
there's also a world where by the time we get to cutting cards, it gets cut in general too. It's just it's just right now it's like a idea. Yeah, and you got to do it to distract everyone from Shimmering Skies format that's coming up this week, right? I mean, it's good versus those item decks. I mean, albeit some of them are adding teeth to their deck now too, so there's an answer.
When I played the DLC in Texas, there was like a million Sapphire decks, so I really appreciated having Teeth plus Flynn combo, so that like anytime they'd play Argus, it was like Sapphire Steel mostly. Anytime they play Argus or cards like that that would try and like stop your Flynn from going off, like you're able to combo stuff off with Teeth and Ambitions or like a combination of B King or trading some characters. So that was always very reliable. So and then like I said, against the Sapphire decks, we just need it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Probably.
It's too good not to have, and especially going first, right? In those scenarios.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Especially going first. Sometimes you have it, man. When you open up that perfect curve of Flynn, Sisu, and then a castle, it's just too good in this Toronto meta. By the way, not necessarily the Shimmering Skies meta. Any other two drops we need to play? I think we're chilling, right?
I think for now we're good. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So three drops. Do you like Peter Pan Shadowfinder?
Uh,
I don't like that
mm,
it's uninkable. That's what I do
yeah.
not like about the
The
card.
uninkable part is the issue because you definitely don't want to miss your curve in red, purple, getting to 4 or even like
Yes.
5. I'm not a big fan of it. If I've ever tried it, it's been a one of and never really made a difference. Probably because it is a one of.
Hmm.
Um, but that's my personal opinion.
That's how I feel too. Not to say not to play the card. Like if you have room for it, or if you feel like you've had good testing with it, definitely play the card, right? But same thing from my experience. Like I've always played it as a one of because I don't want the inkable count. I don't want the uninkable count to be too high because missing your curve before turn 5, 6 is just really bad in Ruby Amethyst. So I just don't want that to happen to me. So I'm going to say not play it, especially because we're playing Teeth and Ambitions. This is also another out to Diablo,
Mhm.
as opposed to playing a character that can rush. So great card, but maybe not just what we want to play right now. Mandatory for Foxes.
Mhm.
Do you play Crab? Is there a need to play Crab in this new meta? Because of the aggro
Uh,
stuff, right? Because I'm thinking like, what if we run into like some aggro nonsense, or what if the new Emerald decks are gonna be playing like Flynn and Merfolk again? That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, it's also good in the red purple mirror to kill opposing castles.
True, true.
It's one of those cards that goes in and out. It's literally
Yeah.
a meta call of like the week of. Do you feel like what's gonna be there? Do I add 2 in or not?
I
It's
I feel like a lot of people are gonna gravitate to Ruby Sapphire, and I don't know how I feel about this card against like
yeah.
the Ruby Sapphire matchup, even against the Sapphire Steel matchup. Uh, like it's
It's
good.
not. Yeah, it's not needed though in like in those matchups.
It's for sure not a card that I want to play one of. That's the issue with me. Like I don't want to
Yeah,
play one
2
of
or
it.
none. That's for me. Yeah.
Right, right, yeah, like two or none, two or none. And I've heard people say like, oh, if you're playing Cusco, you want to play Crab, which is I understand that concept. It makes a lot of sense, but it's just like you're asking for too much, I think. And I think Cusco is really good for those like mirror matches, for those Sapphire matchups where you just want to slap a character on board and just keep questing. Like that. That.
It's also Cusco subs are multi-purpose too because it's beaking and Tremaine protection too, right?
Yep.
So it's
Yeah, that's exactly true. And a lot of people play brooms instead too, like instead of like the Olaf or the one drop. I don't know how I feel about playing the brooms plus Turnibogs as one drops, by the way, because of this like steel meta. Like Amber, like I said, Amber Steel is just everywhere. And like for Cusco, like I'm down to play Cusco like any day of the week against like a steel
yep.
deck. You know what I mean? It feels a little better. And Olaf is just good for that body. But Maleficent, Zach, are we playing Maleficence? 4? Is it that good?
We can start playing 4 again. It's probably one of those cards that we can start cutting copies of. We have to probably include the 4 friends on the other side too. No questions asked there.
Pot of Greed. Yes,
Um, and yeah, are we going with the Sisus? And
definitely
how
4.
many brawls? If we decide that brawl isn't as needed anymore without the Bucky in the meta, do we still play 4?
Yeah, it's just like it's the way. Yeah, you just need to out Diablo. If you don't have Diablo outs, you're gonna feel sad. So it's like,
Just because Bucky's not there doesn't mean Diablo won't be, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. So like, but like Brawl is our Diablo out, and then Teeth is like our 3 other brawls. So we're playing 7 brawls. That's how I'm looking at it. If anything, Brawl comes first in Diablo, just because you just lose games when that Diablo steamrolls. You know what I mean? Like Bucky's not the end all be all with that matchup. Sometimes it's still discard, and you have a tough time playing against discard. You know what I mean? So I'm sticking to 4. Would you play this Sisu, the Sisu Daring Visitor?
I have a hard time playing that without ice block.
Ah, okay, okay.
So,
I kind of
I
want
mean,
to.
like,
Yeah, maybe not this far.
what's the one attack cards that you're worried about as red purple? That an unequal 3-drop that kills it would be beneficial.
True. I guess I would just be worried about like a straight up like yellow purple hyper aggro deck like trying to take over, or even like something like the Emerald Steel deck playing Merfolk and Flynn's again to make their deck like really aggressive. And what I've been noticing too is like ever since Ed Chu won with the Shift Sisu in his deck, like people really play around that now. Like if you slap a Sisu on turn 4 or 5, they get rid of it before your turn 6. So I just kind of like having an extra Sisu name. Maybe this is also like Shimmering Skies Kevin talking, because I've been testing a lot of Shimmering Skies and I really like this card because of the Daisy.
It doesn't exist yet, Kevin.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking, but I'm thinking like people might really play like the Emerald Steel with the Merfolks and the Flynn's, and if you can slap this, oh my gosh, dude, I don't know, Emerald, dude. I've been telling people like Emerald Steel's still really good without the Bucky, like and into the Inklands format, Emerald Steel was crazy good. Like holy heck,
yeah.
I did not want to play against that deck. You know what I mean? So like,
I think if you're gonna run Sisu, it's Pinocchio or Sisu though. I think they feel
you're
the
right.
same kind of tech slot. So I'm not opposed to Sisu, but you have to make a decision if it's Pinocchio, Sisu, or neither.
All right. That's good. That's good deck building advice. Yeah, or neither. We're gonna try and stay within 60 cards, I imagine too. Probably not Maui's Fishhook, right? No, probably not Minnie Mouse Surfer either. These are too fragile nowadays to like Aladdin. This is fragile to Zeus, so we have to overlook some of these cards. Let's see our four drops. I think we're done with the 4-cost stuff. So. 4 drops. I know Dolores Madrigal was getting some play at some point. Not a big fan of this card. I don't like that. Like it's not
the restriction.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed draw power. Not my favorite. 4 Castle. We have to.
Oh yeah.
It's just that good. It's just that good. And like good players will play around this. A lot of Sapphire players will just hold like, or Sapphire Ruby will just hold Hercules. They'll hold combinations of cards. Ruby Am players tend to hold their double Maui's or their Maui Fox for this card. And Steel players, they literally will just hold Titan, Rise of the Titans in their hand until you play your stuff. But like this card is so crazy because when they don't have it, they don't have it. When you play it on turn 4 on curve and they're opened up really slow, you just win the game. So you got to play 4 of them. Like it's mandatory. Goats, rabbits are the best cards in Lorcana. We need to play 4 of these. We got to respect. we got to respect the petting zoo, right?
Yep.
Good way of putting it.
This is the petting zoo package, bro. We got the snake, the fox, the goat, the rabbit, bro. These are literally the best cards in Lorcana. Rabbit, in particular, my favorite card, and like I think it's the best card printed so far.
It's so good,
dude. It's insane. It just lets you recover. Do you play Beat King? This is an interesting one. Do you play Beat King Undisputed? Like
it's good versus the item decks, right? Where they play the big dudes. If the item decks are becoming more popular.
I'm in the market watch. I saw like 20 sales for Maurice's Workshop foil. Just after the DLC the results. So like I would want to play like maybe let's start off with 1. Let's start with 2. For sure not 3. For sure not 3.
Two's a solid start.
Yeah. For sure not 3 though, because I was already not happy with 3 at my freaking event.
Yeah. That again goes to the unequal count, right? You just can't
Yeah, exactly. You can't really mess with it. Some fun cards. Think about Bell, Accomplished Mystic. Especially with Teeth and Ambitions, you might be able to deal 2 damage to your Olaf, and then later on in the game, you can play Bell and move that 2 damage away from your Olaf. But I don't think I like it. Isabel Madrigal, quest for 4, not bad. Don't know how I feel about it though. It's a very hefty cost for a 4 willpower character. Maybe you guys can make that work. What else? Hercules. I've seen some people play Hercules as a castle out, but I don't know if castle's going to be that popular that weekend. Also an inkable. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, so I don't think you need it for red purple. You have Fox.
Oh yeah, we just have foxes
anything plus Fox should mostly kill castles.
Foxes and Maui's. Jim Hawkins, another spicy tech to play your castles, but not a fan of that one either. I feel like you have to be under very specific circumstances to play Jim and resolve your castle and you know what I mean? Like the
the stars have to start sort of aligned for him to be good.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way of putting it. Maui's. 4 Maui mandatory, right?
Yeah, definitely need the Maui's. The enchanted one specifically. Purchase them from Zach at Frankenstein's.
Yeah, yes. Yep, yeah. Make sure to go visit Zach and booth something. Okay. What about Yzma?
M4.
Oh, he's like, you can say the number. It's okay.
What was it? Yeah, I forgot the number. Oh,
You said
so
booth 4.
beef. Okay, so Yzma. I'm a Yzma believer, but this was because of the uninkable count. I like 2 Medusa. Some
Hmm.
people play 3 Medusa. I don't know how I feel about 3 Medusa. I think two's fine. What do you think, dude? What do you guys think?
I've liked 3, but I think 2 is the minimum. So I think 2 is fine. There's also where you can do like 2 Medusa, 1 Yzma, if you're worried about unequal count, right?
Yeah, that's
Just to
exactly how
have it.
I did it, and I was very satisfied with that. I'll put it in for now, and then we'll see what's up. I don't think we need Tremaine because we're
Yeah,
playing the
it's
B
B or
Kings.
Tremaine, yeah, right. It's one
Right.
of the other.
Okay, that's what I was thinking too, and I thought I was crazy. Like at one point, like I was like hyping up Tremaine so much, and it just kept falling. Like it just kept being disappointing. During this meta, Ursa's return meta, and then now for like our 7 drops, looking like we got nobody other than 4 be prepared. Right, we need to play 4,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay, good. And then, do you want to play Sisu still? Yeah, we have to play 2 Sisu.
Like TCC,
The 2
yeah.
Sisu package. Okay. So we're at 68 cards. Wow. Okay. And we're at 15 unequals. Not bad. Not bad. But I definitely want to get to that 13 unequal range. And we
Yeah. I
definitely
want to
have to get
be
to
I want
60.
to be 14 or below, preferably below.
All right. So what's the one unequal we take out now? Is it one Beaking? Is it the Pinocchio? It has to be Pinocchio, right?
Probably the Pinocchio, yeah.
Our Teeth and Ambitions is going to get us there instead. Okay. Now we're at 67. So we got to cut some cards, my goons. We do not like playing more than 60. I mean, Matt, do you ever play more than 60? Actually, I never even asked you.
No, I mean I've tried it in other decks because I've seen other people do it, but I don't personally prefer more than 60.
Right.
I've never registered more than 60 for the DLCs, so
Okay, same. Okay, so let's cut this John a little bit. What is the first thing you want to cut out?
probably an
I'm
Olaf.
an
I think
Olaf. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 Olaf. That's right. I was thinking that too. I'm definitely thinking we cut the Yzma now because I just feel like it's not needed with what we're going for.
yeah, that's fine. You could probably cut a Maleficent.
Oh yeah,
Good
Zach.
job.
Zach, you mentioned that too, right? You want to come Maleficent? You can come Maleficent as one of the cards.
Probably a Teeth.
The teeths. Yep, just like we were saying. I like it at 3. It always
Yep.
goes to 2 though.
Do we need Cusco? I guess that's my only take there.
Cusco's really like lame against Emerald decks in my opinion. I just really like it against like every other matchup other than Emerald. And then especially now with this like Emerald hit, I feel like there's even less Emerald in the meta. So I really like Cusco. I would say we could even make the argument to completely take out Olaf and just not play any more 1-drops other than Turnablock followers. We could also take out Beaking entirely, but don't know how I feel about that one. My brain wants to say take out Flynn. You don't need Flynn, but no, I just want 4 Flynn for this meta, right?
Uh, there is a world where I've played 3 Be Prepared.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I would play. I could argue 3B prep. I'd be down for 3 prep, especially now that your strategy isn't pray you top deck be prepared against Bucky. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's not our
agree.
strategy anymore, and we're playing the Sisus as an extra board wipe. So yeah, I could see that. I'm down for that. Okay. So now we even cut our unequal counts at 13. I love that. That's like my
That's
lucky number.
beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So it's either 2 Olafs or 2 Cuscos. I think that's what it's boiling down to here. Because right now, I don't know what other card we take out. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the best way to get this Teeth and Ambitions off? I think is it going to be from using Olaf or Cusco? What do you think, Matt? We'll let Matt decide. He's the guest.
Pressure's on me. Um,
or we can be goons
well,
and go one and go 1-1. No, I'm just
oh
kidding.
no, definitely need to figure out which one is
No, yeah, don't do
staying
that.
with
Don't do
you.
that,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah, but make a decision. Make a decision. Yeah, that's the way to go.
I think it comes down to again like what you would expect to be there, right? The
Right.
Olaf into Teeth is probably better against the more aggressive decks, or like against like the Diablo potentially stuff. The Cusco is better against like the mirror match and the item decks. So it's like the cut is based off of a call, your expected meta call, what you would expect going in. Which like right now, our opinions might change, because it's the Canada's in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, right? So
Toronto? No,
as
Toronto's this weekend.
wait, Toronto's. I thought it was
Wait, is
No,
it?
it's in
August
2 weeks.
Oh,
20.
It's
2 weeks.
in
Oh,
2
2
weeks.
weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah, it is in 2 weeks. You're right. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2
so you
weeks.
have two
Sorry.
weeks of other people talking about potential decks. The meta might shift a little bit based off of what people's expected outcome will be. But if hypothetically Canada was this weekend, I would probably do Cusco over Olaf personally, but again, I think there's no right or wrong answer in my opinion. It's what you expect.
True, true. We'll go the we'll go the safe route, and we'll do Olaf, because we have like a little bit of a nicer curve. You know, we got a
Mhm.
little bit nicer curve going. Okay, okay. So this is gonna be the deck. We'll call it Toronto. Oops, Toronto. So dang, my Toronto Rubiam. Rubiam. All right. Yes, so you guys can still see my screen, right?
Yep.
Let's get some mulligans in real quick. So we got the simulate button here on Dreamborn. So this is our opening hand. What do we get rid of in the mulligan?
Definitely the 3 of the 4 unequal cards.
Okay, that's what I was
For
thinking too.
sure.
So I was thinking this too. Now I don't want to keep necessarily all the neither like Brawl and Friends. Has to be one or the other, right?
Yeah, it also matters first or second. Do we know the matchup? Is it
Let's say
blind?
going in blind. Let's say we're going first every time because I like
Going
going
first every
first.
time.
I
Going
like going
blind.
first every time, and going blind. You know,
Same.
go.
Um,
I usually pick Friends.
I would probably keep the brawl over the friends going in blind.
Okay, yeah, same. Like I'll pick Friends to mulligan is what I meant. But yeah, I'll keep the Brawl. Zach, would you agree?
Probably. Yeah, because I've been punished before putting back a rabbit and never finding
Yep.
one again.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
yeah.
The same
Yep,
here.
yep, yeah. I know the pain. I know the pain. I'm never
and,
doing
and
that
we're putting
again.
back 3 unequals. And we have there's like 9 left in the deck, so small
Okay.
chance we draw.
So this is nice. So we drew into a snake, we drew into a teeth, and then we drew a Sisu's, and then we drew a Medusa. Not a bad hand at all. We're able to potentially ink a card and go Olaf, and then next turn we can do teeth if we need to against those aggro decks, or we could even bounce Olaf, play snake, and then maybe on turn 2 on their Diablo shift we can do teeth, which is
The
nice
interesting is, what
also.
do you ink? What do you ink turn 1?
Um, Yeah, so I think since we have the Diablo, since we have Brawl already, I would ink Teeth, low key.
Yep.
It's kind of
Yeah,
weird.
that's another
Or
thing.
yeah, or there's also a world where we just ink Olaf Pass, since we don't know what we're playing against and we don't really need to commit too much into the board yet. But that does leave us to not having a 2-drop, so I don't like that play.
It's probably.
So
I think if we're going in blind, it's inking the snake
ink
over the
Snake.
Olaf.
You know what? You're right. That's also true. We could just ink
Because
Snake,
if
play
they're
Olaf.
playing an aggressive deck and we ink Olaf, we're doing nothing for
we're
a while.
then we're doomed. You're right. You're right. So you definitely ink snake, play the Olaf, and then turn 2 we can use teeth if we need to. We can ink teeth pass, or we can
Yep.
wait it out and kind of slow roll it. And then ideally, like we'll see another bounce character for our rabbit later, which is cool. So
Yep.
okay, let's get another one in. Oh, we have this is an interesting one. We have 3 rabbits, 2 goats, a fox, and a snake. Oh, we have the whole zoo. We have the whole petting zoo over here in our hand, bro. It's all purple cards too. Wow, I love it. This is good. So, I think we just keep a rabbit and get rid of everything else, right?
Yep. It sounds
Yeah.
pretty straightforward to me.
Zach, do you agree?
I don't see a problem with that.
All right. Bam. Wow. This is not my favorite. This is one of those games where you just have to accept that it wasn't your day and you can't win them all because
Yeah.
you opened up beat prep Sisu. So that's like opening up all your AOE, and if you play against a whole new world deck, yeah, you're not favored. So sometimes you can't win them all. Maybe we should have even gotten rid of the rabbit low key because we just had nothing in that hand. You
Well,
guys
there was like 3 uninkables or 4 uninkables in that, right? Out of 13, so like the chances of you drawing more uninkables was
actually
a
really
little
low.
bit
Yeah,
smaller. So
13 uninkables, and sometimes you do. It's not your day. Sometimes
yeah,
you're
there was
unlucky.
like 9 left in the deck or something.
Yep.
So
All
it is
right.
what it is.
New hand. We got the Queen's Castle Flynn Items, Merlin Goat, Bee King, Maleficent Brawl, and then a Merlin Rabbit. This is a harder one. This is kind of a harder one. Because, like, I want to keep, like, the curve of Flynn, Maleficent, Rabbit. And we're going first, we're going blind, right? So I want to keep that curve. Not having a 1-drop sometimes bugs me. But, like, I've won a lot of games not having a 1-drop. So I'm down for that. But, like,
Yeah, I think here I could do Beaking and Merlin. Sorry, Goat. There's 2 Merlins.
to put back. So
I think
you didn't keep the castle?
going blind and going first.
I mean, that has a lot of
No,
potential. Like, I get it. Like, it has a lot of potential. I
no,
see why.
I'd probably do the castle going blind. I'd keep the castle if I knew it was good in the matchup. So yeah, probably castle as well.
Okay, okay. Zach, how you feeling?
Um, you know, and remind me again, this is on the draw or on the play?
On the play, on the play.
I'm greedy, man. I'll keep the castle personally.
Really? Yeah, so Zach gonna keep. We'll go with Zach's play. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we get. So we got Friends and Medusa. Okay, and let's say our matchup is against Sapphire Steel, and they have Rise of the Titans for castle. I'm just kidding. But it's looking like with this hand going first, I'd be inclined to want to ink this castle.
Yeah,
You know,
going in
like
blind.
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's fine.
and then we can see if it's an Emerald deck, and if it is, then
You
we
can
ink.
ink the friends.
Yep,
Yep.
and if it's not, then we just kind of like slow roll it a little bit, get some draw power. Because if it's a mirror match, we're in a good spot here. We have some good
Yep.
like curve stuff. The Flint's probably not gonna do its job too well until later, but I think it's a good spot to be in. We have some nice stuff. All right, let's get one more hand in real quick. Oh, we got a one drop finally. You see, we're playing 6 1 drops and we don't even see the one drops most of the time. That's why I'm like, let's play 4. We'll still have good cards regardless. We have 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. That's a great curve that you want to see in this game. So I'm keeping these 3 no matter what.
Yep. It's probably the be prepared and the goat and the snake. Probably. Yeah. To keep
I
everything
don't like
else.
keeping snake if I have flame.
No, he's
But
saying the
yeah,
ones that we're gonna get rid of. Yeah, so we're keeping brawl.
Yeah, I think
oh,
keeping brawl again going in blind. We need to make sure we have the answer to Diablo, right?
Yep, yep,
Or
definitely.
even like an opposing Flynn rider because we don't have high attack to counter if they go Flynn into Sisu, right?
True, true. Like our highest. Okay, so we got a goat, we got another Chernobog, and we got a Beat King, and then now we have that. You're right. Keep the brawl for those pesky problematic cards. I've lost games for sure for Flynn just gaining like 3 or 6 lore, and then I'm like, wow, if that Flynn didn't go off that one time, that would have been a way different game. Way different game. But okay, so we got a little bit more time left. If you're down, let's go ahead and build another deck, bro.
Let's. Why don't we build the blue Fossa deck or the hyper aggro that both of you thought we would run, right? You can do one or the other.
yeah, man. I like red purple hyper aggro. All right,
Really?
so to to start off, we're gonna be playing the most amount of one drops that I think makes sense. I like 4 Broom, 4 Chernobog to obviously start. Think I would also play the 4 Bidding Her Time.
Or
No
Broom.
reason not to include 4 copies of that. Hmm.
We got
And
Befuddles. Befuddle's a good card.
Befuddle's a card I'd probably include 2 copies of. I wouldn't play 4 right now in Toronto. Um, Let me see. If we keep going down the line, I don't see any card yet. Now
Yen
Yen Sid
Sid?
is a little greedy because like I don't think we're gonna be playing more than just 1 drop broom. I like
Definitely
it
not.
better in more of like a bounce control version, just because you can go a little bit more lower to the ground and play multiple copies of Teeth in. But for sure add at least 2 copies of the snake. I don't know if we play 4. And I like 3 copies of the Pinocchio. It's just gotta get a little greedy, but not too greedy with the amount of uninkables.
This card's insane.
Um, yeah, the amount of
Yeah.
lore just to be played. Wouldn't play Flynn Rider. It seems a little too much.
We got a couple more 2 drops. Oh, gotta play LeFou.
You got to play 4 copies of LeFou. There's no questions asked on that one.
Okay, okay. Any other 3 drops? Peter Pan Shadow. We got Arthur. You playing Arthur?
Absolutely play 4 copies of Arthur.
Wow, okay. We got the.
And we're playing 4 copies of the Fox.
How about Crabs? Or how about Boss on a
Now,
Roll? Boss on a Roll is kind of cool for an aggro deck like this, no?
I mean, we can put 2 copies in right now. I don't think I'd ever play 4.
Okay,
Definitely gonna be playing the 1 copy of the Sorcerer Spellbook.
okay.
And if I were to keep going down a little bit more,
Friends?
I don't know if we want friends. That's something that we can put 4 in right now, and I can come back to it later.
Okay. I feel like you need Brawl no matter what, right? Or no? You're just ignoring?
No, that's just going against our play style.
Okay,
We
okay.
can't really
Wow.
afford to be playing cards like that.
All right, the mind.
Um, yeah, so we got to
Minnie
keep
Mouse
going down.
Surfer. Minnie Mouse Surfer's a very good card.
Uh, don't know if we want to actually play copies of that.
Okay.
Are you stopping inking at 4 basically or 5? Like
For the
you're
most part, yeah. I am
yeah.
going to be playing 4 copies of the castle, 4 copies of the goat. We can start off by playing 2 rabbits for now. And
Only
then keep
two.
going down.
I'm hurt. Only 2 rabbit, the best card in Lorcana.
I gotta play four
It's not a
copies
full
of
zoo.
Super Goof. I gotta be playing 4 copies of Super Goof in this
You know
set.
what? I gotta put the enchanters then.
Enchanted ones, please. Thank you. That you can purchase at Zach's booth.
Yeah, yep, the enchanted super goof.
Make sure to look for your enchanteds. Shop local, support local.
Support your
All right,
local
then
game stores.
now let's count my deck. How many cards do I have so far? 39,
52.
41,
It's right here, 52.
40. Oh, okay. So let's go all the way. Actually, let's play 4 copies of Isabella.
Ooh,
Okay.
Isabella. Ooh, I like that.
Gotta get a closeout, and
Yeah.
then let's go all the way up. Let's scroll all the way up. I don't think we're playing
Any more
anything
Defense
else
5?
that greedy.
Okay. So we're just go back to
Yeah,
some
it's a
one
little
drops.
too greedy.
Honestly, you know
So
what? You know what? Wait, we gotta play. One sec. Sorry. This is just me being a Lorcana goon. If we're gonna play our boy Pinocchio, then we also gotta respect the game and play our boy Simba, bro. Come on. They're the same cards.
well,
This is the only color combo that can play both of the characters that quest the 2 drops that quest for 3. There's no way that's bad. Like we just
why
max
are
we
we
max
playing
it
just four? Why are we just
for
playing 4 copies of it?
no. I'm trying to make the case to play 4 Pinocchio and like one or two of these guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
5.
we're probably gonna be cutting. We're probably gonna be cutting rabbit.
Oh yeah, how many uninkables do we have? We have 16 uninkables. Not even bad.
Okay. I think I'd actually like to probably fit in 2 copies of Fan the Flames as well.
Fan the Flames. That's a song, right?
The action 1 cost.
Action 1 cost. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, just a radio
Scroll
character, right?
It's
down.
still
Scroll
a faux
down.
effect,
Scroll
right?
down.
Here he is. It's just
Yeah.
LeFou. It's just LeFou. It's literally
Is
LeFou.
it- Yeah, 2. I played 2.
So fluid ill.
Now let's.
Instigator's effect is fan the flames. Duh. I freaking love this game, man.
Yeah. So now let's see. Let's scroll up a little bit.
It's gotta be pretty cool. Goof. Super goof.
Yeah, 60 cards by the way, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it
Well.
Zach Aggro.
Wow. I guess I'm a better deck builder than I thought after all.
Yeah, bro. That was really quick. Look at this. Look at this image real quick. It's kind of small, sorry guys, but look at this. This is pretty solid. This is a DLC winning deck if I've ever seen one. Cause yeah, what's that? 16 uninkables, I believe, right? So then yeah, man, you got everything you need. I think the only problem that you probably gonna run into is like getting Zeused on your Arthurs. That's my only concern. But a lot of people will like cut out Zeus to like 1 or 2 in their deck, which is kind of interesting.
I'm just worried about that uninkable Sisu. If that starts to see a lot of play, then Arthur's
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a really hard time, trying to get that off. But that's why we play cards like the Isabella. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's why we play the copy of the Sorcerer's spell book.
Book. Yep.
And we're playing other ways to get out the last little bits of lore with bosses on the roll, super goof. So the idea is that they're not going to be able to like answer everything. You're going to get a lot of lore, especially early on, and then you got some closers. You got some literal cards that they can't react to, and that's my favorite part about playing decks like this. Again, the bosses on the roll is an inkable card, so I think it has a little bit more merit to play. Also, it's like stacking your deck and also removing cards you don't want to see, then bottom decking them is very good. And I don't think people understand how important that can be in a game like this. So Kevin does have the the mulliganing, and so am I going first or am I
Yeah,
not?
no, you're going first. We're going first. We're going blind.
Oh man, this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. We're keeping Maleficent, Broom, Maleficent, and probably Friends. I'm down to also keep a castle, but probably not. And I would just let's see what we get here because honestly, I got
Damn.
my okay. That's not bad at all. I got my curve of 1 drop into 1 drop, 1 drop, and I have the option of playing like 2 brooms on the following turn. I wanted to keep the friends just as an ink option as well. But we didn't have a turn 3, and it felt like really good to reload after we just played a bunch of 1-drops at worst. If we found a card like Arthur, then we can probably give up the friends plan and just start being very aggressive. So yeah, I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and do another one where we're on the draw.
Bam. Oh, this one's
Um,
nice.
okay, so
This is
on
why I
the
like this deck.
draw is very hard here because I don't like the amount of uninkables I have right now. So priority is probably throw back a rabbit, throw back one of the Maleficents. I'm probably gonna also throw back Fox. I don't think I want to keep Fox on the draw right there. And then you have a lot of reactive ability here. Like you have just being able to protect your Simbas, your Maleficents. Like again, if you're playing against a Ruby Sapphire deck, this is all you want to see, and they're going to cry because you're
Yeah.
saving the foo for the times when they can drop cards like Maui and maybe even like if they have a Scuttle. Like unfortunately, Teeth and Ambitions is a card we just can't really play around, so we have to disrespect it and just say they better have it and a character to damage as well. So this is probably fine. Let's see what cards we get.
Bam. The photo. Man, Turner Box followers and fan the flames. Woo, we got a lot of flames being fanned with his hand. I like it.
I just want to point out that we're not going past 2 ink for a while based off this hand.
That's good. I'm down for it. As long
That Simba is gonna go to town.
yeah, this you see, I'm telling you, there's no way like playing both of the 2-cost characters that quest for 3 is bad. Like you can only do that in this color combo. You can only do it in this color combo, and I love it. All right, let's go. One more, Zach. We got double Isabella. We got friends on the other side. Fox, a super goof, a Merlin goat, and a LeFou.
I could be going second. I can be going first. I could know what I'm playing against. I could totally not. And I'm getting a whole new hand every single time.
Yeah, you just know 1-drop, so you say, you know what, we need the 1-drop.
You don't even keep a LeFou because you don't have a 1-drop. Like there's no way you play this game without playing something on turn 1. If you have to ink pass turn 1, you lose no matter what. So
With this deck.
let's find a
All
1-drop.
right, we got our
And we
Maleficent.
found one.
Yeah,
And that's why we've got a whole new hand. We've
Yeah.
got the most amount of chances to find that. Now our hand is very it's aggressive, but it has a game plan in mind now with a double castle. We can even look to keep double castle and just kind of ink like fan the flames or ink super goofy and try to ink the top of our deck from there. But yeah, you have Maleficent, you have LeFou, you have some early lore power, and you could probably get away with getting up to 8 to 10 lore anywhere before turn 4. So castle becomes more of a problem there. Don't also forget too that castle is another way to draw cards. That's why I'm not too worried about playing less rabbits. Again, rabbit's a card that I still don't know if we play the 2 copies of right now, but it's filling in the spots.
Yeah, okay. I feel it, man. Matthew, would you agree with all these mulligans on this hyper aggro deck? I mean, I know it's not like your deck of choice, but I mean, you're a great player.
Yeah, I mean Zach's basically echoed how I feel, so I haven't felt the need to say anything different. I agreed with the full mold the whole hand because your deck you will lose basically if you don't have a 1-drop with the way this deck's meant to be played. I mean, this hand doesn't look primo, but it's playable, right? Compared to the first hand that we had. So.
Oh yeah. And how do you feel about this concept for Fort Worth? I mean Fort Worth, sorry, for Toronto.
So again, I think it goes back to what you expect. If Amber Steel is popular, I think something like this becomes a lot harder to pull off. But if we're expecting item decks or even like red purple, this is probably fine. Just got to worry about if it's blue gray or the sapphire steel. This will be a bit harder. But if it's red blue and red purple, probably easier to pull off. Again, it comes down to a meta call of what you would expect to play. But I think an aggro style deck is also a very good call for Canada because everyone's going to try to come up with some sauce feeling like a Bucky free meta, and this might be something that catches them off guard. It's also something you wouldn't normally be able to play in a Bucky meta because Bucky shut down a lot of the aggro decks.
your deck identity is aggro, it's when your deck identity is aggro, then you just pivot to something totally not aggressive. Get a lot of people off guard. That's all I could say.
People hate you when your deck identity is aggro. It's funny. Okay. Thank you so much for showcasing on how you would play Rubiam for the Toronto meta. I totally agree with kind of that deck building idea. A little bit different than Zach's. I like Zach's version as well. The Rubiam hyper aggro or aggro deck was definitely something to fear in like set 2, set 3 format. I love Arthur. The card's always going to be very dear to me. So I do think that we got to cover a lot in this episode of Quest of the Guest. So I do appreciate that. Before we let you go, Matthew, do you have any shout outs you want to give out?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to my wife and kids that allow me to travel to all these tournaments. It's I think it's a normal thing for Lorcana with a lot of parents playing the game, so can never take the significant other for granted for letting us travel and play. And of course, shout out to you guys to ask me to be on. It's very kind of you guys, and I appreciate it. And always love your guys' content. And yeah, it's been great. It's been fun. Hopefully, we can do more. Whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. If you guys want to follow Matthew Okimoto on Facebook, you can find him on Facebook with Matthew Okimoto or on Twitter under MetaPotionTCG. Keep up with this Lorcana journey. Great player, already won a Mickey. We're going to be playing the North American Continentals together. Zach, you got to meet us there, man. Vegas is going to be your event. I know you're excited. We're all excited to play the DLC in Vegas, so remember to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. Like, comment, subscribe. Zach, do you have any final words for us?
Yeah, guys, I always like to pitch it, but our Discord is just getting bigger and better. Definitely stop on by. Some very good conversations. And honestly, with Shimmering Skies right around the corner, everyone's excited about it. Matt, really quick before we let you go, what's your favorite card or the most, the card you're looking forward to the most out of Shimmering Skies?
Shimmering Skies. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at everything. I tried to avoid it going into Texas because I didn't want to get distracted with spoilers.
Yep.
But off the top of my head, the aggressive card I'm looking forward to not playing against is Daisy Duck. I don't want to play against that card, but I'm sure it'll be heavily played. One of the cards that I think stands out that's pretty good. I don't know what you guys' take is the I don't know the exact name, but it's the purple 2-drop item that both players draw a card.
Yes.
Amethyst Chroma.
Yeah, that card. I think that card is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes me want to play Emerald so I can Diablo and then draw 2.
Right? I mean, it's so I feel like that card is so good. It fits both areas. It's an aggro deck can run it because sometimes they don't care what's in your hand if they're gonna quest for the win. And then from a control deck perspective, against like a discard deck, discard still is popular and somehow it helps you keep you in the game, right? I think it's just all around good card. It's inkable, so worst case you don't want to play, you ink it. It covers a lot of corners, and I love drawing cards. If you play red purple, you love drawing cards. Why not add another card to your deck that lets you draw cards? So
Yep, exactly, man. And there's no cost for it, so you don't have to trigger it. You can just trigger it whenever you want. It just stays there.
It's an item, so like it's not easily removable. I mean, people will probably run item removal, but it's not doesn't die to a lot of just blank removal because it's on a creature, right, or character. So like that's one of the cards that I saw that I was like, oh, I like that card a lot. But I think the enchanted art this set is really nice. I don't know. Personally, I really like the way they did all the enchanted art for Shimmering Skies. I don't know if you guys have saw some of those.
Honestly, it explains why there's a dip in enchanted prices as of right now. Those artworks are crazy. It's very high. I would say like has a little more detail in like the actual not just the art itself, but just like with the points of reference for like the lore has like a little border in between it, between the lore and the effects. I'm honestly just kind of like a fan of the ever-changing themes between these enchanteds, honestly. I can't wait for the next one, obviously. I'm getting more into Disney than I ever thought I would when I started doing this. So I blame you, Kevin, for a good thing, for a very good thing.
That Mufasa enchanted art looks beautiful. I don't know if you guys saw the blue Mufasa.
Yeah, these for sure are my favorite enchanted so far, and I think a lot of people.
Snow White's the best.
Snow White. Oh, yeah.
Snow White, just just
So
hands down
good.
won.
Really,
I think it won.
I
Yeah,
really like the Archimedes one. I think the Archimedes one looks crazy. I just like
that
I
one's
like the
cool
neon
too.
pink. I like the neon pink stuff. So that's probably the one I'm looking forward to the most. But
All right. Well, find us on our market watch so we can talk all about that when this is released,
yes.
guys. So, as always, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons. This was Quest with the Guest with a podcast. You can lore for more. We'll see you goons next time.